So as I was editing the video right now that I'm about to upload for you guys, I forgot the most important thing, and it would be wrong for me to start the video any other way. I just want to say thank you to each and every single one of you, especially my family, my friends, and just everyone in general for taking you guys' time to watch just my simple video. I thought it was just like it was gonna be nothing, but I got a lot of positive reactions and a lot of love messages, and it's just an overall great feeling, and I can't wait to grow with you guys and just keep getting better. Thank you guys. You guys are the fucking best. What's going on, guys? Saul Andrade here. Hope you're having a great day. Today is Friday, April 5th, and I'll be showing you guys and teaching you guys what dieting really is, because we all want to get shredded for the summer, maybe for a special event. I'm getting shredded for Vegas, you know, I'm going to a festival, so that's my reason of doing it. So yeah, we have a wrong misconception that dieting is like eating salads and vegetables all day or starving yourself. That's not right. That's why most people fail to actually diet down and follow through. So I'm gonna teach you guys the way I learned and the way I think is best, and because there's a whole bunch of different ways to diet down, but this is my personal way of doing it. Okay, so first of all, what is a diet, right? A diet is just a set of macros. And what are macros, you may ask yourself? Macros is just proteins, fats, and carbs. There's 4 calories in each gram of protein. There's 4 carbs. There's 4 calories in 1 gram of carb, and there's 9 calories in 1 gram of fat. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, that's going to be important later on in the lesson. Okay, so for step number 1, we're going to figure out our maintenance calories. For step number 2, we're going to figure out our fat and protein intake. Step number 3, we're going to figure out our carb intake. Step number 4, weekly weigh-ins and why. Step number 5, how to adjust your calories and macros and why. Okay, so I'm going to erase this so I can have more space. Should have gotten a bigger eraser. You know, if I'm prepared, it's not me. Okay, so for step number 1, figuring out our maintenance calories. Step number 1. I'm going to be using myself as an example. So right now I'm 165 pounds. And I'm going to multiply that number by 14 or 16. And 14 and 16 is basically like your activity level. 14 being like if you're lightly active, have a desk job and stuff like that. 16 is if you're active and have an active job and go quite often to the gym like I do myself. I go 6 times a week. I don't know why. I just love being at the gym. And I know your body needs to rest, but you know, I don't do that. All right. So I feel great anyways. So I'm going to do 165 times 16, and that's going to give me my maintenance calories, which I already went ahead and did. It's 2,640. And from this, since we want to cut down, theoretically there's 500 calories in 1 pound, right? So that's what I recommend losing, 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a week. 2 is just pushing it. You're going to lose a little bit too much muscle mass, and I don't want to sacrifice my gains that I've been working really hard to get, right? So we're going to subtract 500 from this number, 2,000, so that's 0, 4, 1, boom. Our maintenance calories is 2,140. Our cutting calories are sorry if I confused you guys. So our starting cutting calories is 2,140. And that's if you multiply 500 times 7, that's 3,500. And there's 3,500 calories in a pound. All right, so we're gonna be losing 1 pound a week. Okay, so step numero 2. Step number 2 was figuring out your protein and fat intake. And the way I like to do it, if you're on the heavier side, lean towards 0.75. If you have a little bit of muscle mass,
stick to 1 gram a pound per body weight. That's usually what most of us land in. But if you've been lifting for a little bit longer and want to preserve your muscle and stay in the safe side, what I like to do personally is multiply it times 1.3. So I'm gonna do 165 times 1.3, and that's gonna give me 214. All right, so we're moving along pretty quickly. So protein intake is gonna be 214 grams. For your fat intake, what I like to do is 165 times 0.35. And that's gonna give me roughly 57.75. And I myself don't like 57. So we're gonna go and round it up to 60. So fat intake is gonna be 60 grams. And the reason I like to have higher protein, it's because protein is the main the main building block. I'm sorry, and it just preserves a lot more muscle. And your fats, it's to keep your hormones in level and keep your body on check, right? So we want to have everything functioning the right way and moving smoothly, right? So okay, so step number 3 is figuring out your carb intake. Step number 3. So the way you figure out your carb intake, obviously you want a good amount of carbs to fuel your workouts because that's your main energy source, right? So the way you go about it is this is when it comes in handy. You do 214 times 4 because there's 4 calories in 1 gram of protein. So we do 214 times 4, and then we do 60 times 9 because there's 9 calories per gram of fat, right? So we're gonna go ahead and do that. 214. I don't have those calculations, so let me do that. 214 times 4 is 856. 60 times 9 equals 540. Alrighty, so now we're gonna add these two little guys up. 540 plus 856 equals 1,396 calories, right? And what did we say? There's four calories in 1 gram of carbs. Sorry, you guys, we're back. My battery died. Anyways, now that we figured out 214 times 4, it's 856, and 60 times 9 is 540. That gives us 1,396. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab these calories and subtract them by 2,140, which are our maintenance calories, right? So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Minus 2,140. That's gonna give us roughly 744 calories. And now, since we know that there's 4 calories in 1 gram of carb, we're gonna go ahead and divide 4 divided by 744. So we're gonna do 744 divided by 4, and that's gonna give us roughly about 186 grams of carbs. Okay. So for step number 4, hopefully you guys are understanding and I'm not confusing, but you can always feel free to leave some comments down below if you guys want me to clarify anything. But so far we got our macro set up. These will be it. 214 grams of protein, 60 grams of fat, and 186 grams of carbs. Okay, so for step number 4 is your weekly weigh-ins. And you want to go ahead and weigh in yourself every day, first thing in the morning after using the bathroom. The reason you don't want to do it like after you consume food and all that other good stuff is because obviously that's not going to be the right weight. because you got to take into consideration that you already had fluids in your system, you already have food in your system, so you want to do it first thing in the morning. And then from there, take the average from your 7 days, and then see how much weight you're losing. So after you take your average, it's gonna let you know, because sometimes your weight fluctuates, and then you panic. You're like, oh crap, like I lost like 2-3 pounds already, like shit. And then maybe that could happen the very first weeks, but it'll come to a halt, and then it'll go down slow, start going down slow, and that's why you want to do the weekly weigh-ins, right? And then for step number 5, the way you go about it is, once you take your average, that's how you know whether to adjust or go up in your calories. And usually the way you go up in your calories is, I personally like to up my carbs. So if I feel like I'm dropping way too quickly, I up my carbs a little bit by maybe 15 to 20 grams. Don't go too like drastic and don't go too crazy, but you know, that's why you want to do the weekly weigh-ins, and that's how you go about adjusting. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, one more thing, and for all my people who asked how much trying to take a day, you up it by 10 mgs every single day. Nah, I'm just kidding. Don't do Trent. Anyways, I really hope you guys, and I didn't confuse you guys. I hope I was a little understandable, and if you guys have any questions or whatsoever, feel free to ask away. That's what I'm here for. Thank you guys, and